television and the entertainment field for like how long? Share
Well,
for
yeah. So are we started?
We just kind of.
Okay,
we're
fine.
just rolling.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
just talking. This is what we do.
Yeah, no, as long as it looks
yourself.
cute.
Welcome.
So I actually got into television so I was diagnosed with cancer at 42. On the heels of my marriage imploding in a dumpster fire blaze of glory.
Right.
And just like you, I had this vision of what my life was, and I was checking but I was checking boxes and keeping myself like, if I just do this, it'll be that. And all of a sudden, just the wheels fell off one at a time. So when I was 42, got diagnosed with cancer on the heels of my marriage falling apart. And while I was going through my treatments, I just had this meltdown of all meltdowns because I couldn't get my neurology back. My brain was like not... that chemo brain is real. And I was like, is this where my story ends? Like at 42, every chapter that has been written about Barbara Majeski, Barbara Schwartz, Barbara Majeski, me, has been written, and I have that's it. It's all you get. Book is closed. And it really shook me. I have so much more in my tank. And I made a vow in this moment. I was like, if I ever get another shot, I will never play small again. I'll never let these voices of fear and self-doubt or the weight of other people's opinions get in my way of living my best life.
Good for you.
And when I got out of cancer, I was like, all right, Babs, what you gonna do?
You call yourself Babs?
Babs is my badass bitch self.
There you
sometimes, but doesn't everyone
That's
have
cool.
like this?
Everybody's got a little Babs.
Everyone's got a little Babs.
Yeah.
Everyone's got like an alter ego that you need to sometimes step out. Like I need Barbara just to take a seat. She is too kind. She cares too much about other people's opinions. She's insecure. She's just literally weighted down by, all these things. So Babs is just fearless. She's like, fuck it and go. And
Barbara has there's something that always holds us back, which is perception and others, that what someone might think or say.
Yeah, fear.
But Babs doesn't care. Babs is
like,
reckless,
you literally survived cancer. You don't give a fuck anymore. And sometimes she just needs to just push push myself aside and go in it. And I was like, all right, what are we doing?
Sure.
And I remember being like, you've always wanted to be on TV. Now you're going to be in relentless pursuit. Like now it's like, it was like, I would rather fail in the pursuit than fail to pursue anything. That's where I always got jammed up of like, oh, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm overqualified, I'm underqualified, I'm smart enough, I'm too smart.
Yep.
Understood, sure. And all of a sudden I was like, you don't get to decide. You have to put yourself out there. So TV was where I kind of was like, let's go. So it's a career I launched in my 40s.
And that was the first step into that direction, television. But the television space that you're in is lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So it's where you will plug and play your content of what you do best, which actually is going to segue into how we met.
Yep.
Right. So if you don't mind, just what you're doing in television as you started, and then how you found, because you found us.
Yes, I did.
You actually were, right, Johnny, the first time. But tell your story, and then I'm gonna.
I'm dying to see your
I
side.
gotta contribute back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do lifestyle and entertainment on TV, but that was my foot in the door. That was like, hey, we need somebody on the Today Show to do this. Would you do it? And I'm definitely more of a curator, which is where I find, test, and share what I think is fabulous, like living your best life. So I don't necessarily make things up, but I do bring what I think is the best to my audience. So I saw you guys on TikTok. I thought you were fabulous. I love that you had launched a bourbon, and I was doing a segment because I guess it was COVID?
It was COVID. Yeah, it was COVID.
Somewhere in COVID. Okay, because I did.
It was 2020.
Yes, because I did it outside in my backyard.
Positive,
as opposed to in a studio.
Yep.
Of course, I had to pivot like everyone else. And I was doing a how to entertain outside, a hot toddy, right?
Hot toddy, yes.
So good. And you guys were doing these things on the, the TikToks of like smoking the glass.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this. And I just saw a win because you guys had just launched a bourbon. And I was like, all right, because I like to bring new and interesting. I don't want to bring Tito's to, there's nothing wrong with Tito's, but it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm like, I want to bring stuff that I think is great. So I must have DM'd you, stalked you, did what I do. Like, listen, can I put you on TV?
Well, so that's what happened. So you DM'd, and it came to you because I don't manage the account. And he's like, oh, this lady, Barbara, wants to on Good Day New York. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, wow. He's like, in all fairness, was dismissing it because he's like, wow, it's television.
I don't think you're lying.
No, you were not. You were not. You were not.
I did not dismiss that at all.
Wait, were you?
She reached out to me, and then I reached back out to her, and I said that'd be a great idea.
Yeah,
you can pull up the DMs if you really wanted to.
Well, we don't have to do that, but the overall,
I want the receipts.
You
the
can pull them up.
The overall sentiment on television is what for you when you think about?
I thought it was a great opportunity for us to be on television. I know you'd like to tell me.
Did you watch it live?
I know you'd
Hold
like.
on, time out. Did you watch it live as it went on?
I did watch it live.
You did not. You were in the gym that day.
But I watched it live.
I
at
told
the
you.
gym.
I said it's coming on. You watch it as though I'm at the gym. So stop 1 second. We'll do a little.
Listen, I'm
derail
not
here.
following your narrative, but
My
I guess
narrative
you'd like
is
me
this.
to, so I will.
I
will
was
pretend.
super.
He was more excited than I.
excited.
Yes, if
Thank
that's
you.
the,
Okay.
if that's the question.
That's
Yes,
the
he was
point.
more excited than I was.
I was so jazzed up that
Yeah.
she's on Good Day New York, and I did a little check on you, and
He was.
Good Morning America, and all this. I said we got to go. He's like, yeah, all right. Well, you contact her. That was the handoff, and from there, you and I talked.
Right.
And I again because I grew up with those shows.
Those were the gold
That's where
standard
you went. Yeah.
of like your
Yeah.
product goes on the Today Show, Good Day New York,
Yeah.
Inside any of these programs, you have made it in this
Sure.
world. But that's our gold standard.
Yeah, right.
Now you got to get a
Yeah.
TikTok star.
Sure.
There's
Sure.
stuff out there.
Correct.
Things have really shifted. But in our mind, it is still, because the truth is, you still have to be invited on TV.
Yes.
There's still something, I don't know.
It feels a lot more special than it is.
Yes.
That's the reality. Like right now, I'd rather be placed on a Barstool page than a Good Day New York page.
Oh, okay. Good point.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good point.
100%. And I don't blame you, because honestly, the juice is not worth the squeeze for television.
Correct.
You're not going to get that much out of it. You're not going to get the return on, even if you don't invest,
Right.
you're not going to get that much return on it, no matter what. And
That's
I
interesting.
cannot, but
That's
you
interesting.
put something in the hands of a social media influencer, it changes the trajectory of a business.
Overnight. There's that. What's his name? Keith Lee. He has like 9 million. He blew up. So he stares into the camera and he says, "Today I'm going to review XYZ food." And for whatever reason, his mannerisms, he's very honest about what he talks about, and these videos are, like you said, crushing it for these small businesses, selling stuff out. He grew like 8 million followers in months. Like, it was insane. He's probably one of the most viral people right now. But it's just about just being genuine and honest.
I don't know if this is the same guy, but I just heard a story of how a food reviewer on TikTok saved this food truck. Like, that was him.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
See, I think that's
Yeah,
so
that's-
powerful.
And he's awesome.
That's
Like, he
profound,
donates
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
He actually, I saw that one. I think he went to the spot. The guy was kind of explaining how he's going out of business, this and that, doesn't have any food for him today. Or maybe he had like something for him. He put up like a GoFundMe or something for the guy and then donated back to him the next day. Yeah. Really, really
It's so powerful.
stuff.
TV's not going to give you that same, that is just, you're not. It's a different medium now. It's not what it was.
Right.
When you got on the Today Show in the day, you're like, or you got on Oprah,
Sure.
forget
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Things were transformed.
Yep.
It's not taking traction the way that it was.
Do you think that it will? I guess. What do you think the future is of morning television?
There's always going to be a need for content and information,
Right.
but you have to
Okay.
meet the consumer's needs. And I think the way that it's coming out, I think TV. There's always going to be a screen in your house. You're going to want to stream
Sure.
movies. I just think it's got to evolve, and I think it's got to
Yeah, I
be
think you're right. Yep.
less staged. I think it's so antiquated in how even the hosts do interviews and everything. I think people
It is a little rigid, right?
they just keep using this
Yeah.
method that worked in the 1950s, the 60s, the 70s. Consumers have very short attention spans. They've got to catch up. I think they're like my audience now on TV that reaches out. They're my age, of course,
Sure.
my parents' ages, if they reach out. So
Yeah, you have to evolve.
TV is not going to go anywhere, but I think just it's going to be streaming some sort of, obviously it's already even going in that direction. I think we'll always have a screen on the telly, on the TV.
There has to be, like I said, there has to be something other than your handheld device.
Yeah.
That in a moment when it's newsworthy, that you can watch in a longer form of content versus just streaming or in a shorter form of content, which is what we get from
and cut the
a lot of
crappy,
social media.
dumbass 3-minute commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that anymore. I don't
Right.
want to wait. Come back after, I'm not coming back. I've literally flipped the channel. I'm gone. I have left the reservation.
Yeah.
So I think that they just have to catch up.
Well, when you say that, what changes would you like to see be made?
In television, I want it more from the consumer end as less the advertising end. I think the way that your content is being delivered and curated is heavily based on who's paying for it.
Right.
That means the commercial advertisers. I believe everything that you're getting on television is curated, a little bit manipulative, and backed by funding. It's not real news anymore. Your news is not real news. Citizen journalism is where it's at. So I think that if television stopped being sponsored by advertisers and started being funded by citizenship and managed by citizenship, like Twitter Spaces and Twitter is being citizens journalism. I feel like the news needs to go in that trajectory, not from the advertiser down. Please the advertiser, because if the advertiser doesn't fund the media, there is no media.
I guess the advertisers have to be a little courageous and.
There can be no advertising.
Well, but there needs to be dollars behind it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you don't have the conduit that means to
I think it needs to shift. I think that as consumers, we need to take better control of the information that we're getting and be very conscientious that the information, the news that we're getting, the censorship and the curation.
Right. Well, again, news, entertainment, two different,
Well,
sides
I did
of the
get
ball,
into television to really be myself, to really talk about things. I saw myself as a anchor on like The View or the Today Show.
Oh, you'd be perfect for that.
I would have loved it, but it's no longer your narrative is heavily articulated and controlled by the people that are funding the different programs.
Yeah.
I can't do that, and I can't be told what to say.
So you have to come up with your own show.
And
you have some of your own.
I'm doing a little bit.
You have your own podcast. You have the curator of the good life.
Yeah.
You have your 90-day. What is it?
Yeah,
challenge?
I do a 90-day workout challenge.
How are you doing a 90-day workout challenge?
It starts March 1st. I'm not doing it right this second.
All right, so it starts March, and it's obviously virtual. There's no live audience.
I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel that the impetus for me launching that was I felt like everyone's buying the memberships, downloading the apps, buying the Pelotons, but it's not. You can't buy the things to get the things. You have to do the things.
Correct.
You can't dream about being on TV, launching a podcast, doing what you're doing. You actually have to take action. And it has to be consistent. You can't lose your attitude. You've got to just show up, especially when you don't want to.
Yeah, everyone wants to be in shape. Nobody wants to get in shape.
Yeah, they don't want to do the work.
Right.
Or they want to do the work when they're motivated and inspired. And and I know, is that motivation, inspiration are like, they're the friends that show up at the barbecue when the beers are cold and the music's playing and the grill is hot. They are nowhere to be found at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's no music playing here. But everyone's like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay inspired? I think that narrative is such garbage. I'm like, you don't.
It's
you
hard.
Stay consistent.
Yeah. Well, so what do you do? So John's we all work out, right?
Yeah.
So what do you find in this premise of a challenge, right? What do you think, why people engage in it, or they may just dismiss it? Where do you feel that has a place?
Well, I think structure helps everybody, right? So if I don't know where to start, this gives me a great starting point, and there's a community behind me. So things like when you are struggling and you don't want to get up in the morning and you're dragging, there's 100 other people doing the same thing, and you can't let them down.
Accountability.
So there is an accountability standpoint. If you're in a group chat and it's like, hey, happy Monday. Maybe we don't feel like working hard today, but we're just going to get the work done.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger problem that we face right now is that we are fed so much awesome motivational content that feels so stimulating watching it that you will never compare to that feeling when you're actually going and doing it. I can go watch somebody lift weights for an hour and be
Yeah.
like, I'm jacked up. I want to go lift weights right now.
That's why we watch every Rocky.
Right. And then you go to the gym, and you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel like,
Where's my music?
I felt better sitting on the couch. I felt better sitting on the couch
Right.
watching this video
Good point,
than actually
yeah.
being in the gym and doing it.
Yes.
So when that doesn't match up, or people think things are easy, right?
Yeah.
Because they watch some UFC fighter training. I'm like, I could do that. And then they get punched in the face. You're like, whoa, that doesn't feel the way I thought it was going to. It didn't
Reality
look
punch.
that. It didn't
Yeah.
feel the way that looked. So
Right.
I think you have to really separate the two, appreciate and understand what that motivational video should have done for you, but understand that's never going to feel the same when you're actually doing it.
Agreed.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a giant abyss. You know what you need to do, but it's actually doing it. I think there's a disconnect. You're like, while I'm doing it, I don't
Like, wait
feel
a
like
minute.
David Goggins.
And you know what? And the hardest part is that getting started, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is what you just said, and the reason you're creating what you are creating to help people. And from this side, for me, I don't watch the videos to get motivated.
Yeah.
I appreciate them. But I'd rather watch a movie. I'm not going to watch. It's just we're different, right?
Yeah.
And so when I think about my friends, especially in dry January, they're professing they're going to do, and they're like, all right, what do I do, John? You
Yeah.
know, and because I go to the gym, all right, doesn't mean I know everything, but I know a little something.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to them, it's real. Meet me here
Yeah.
if you kind of at 7:00, and if you can't come at 7, be here by 7:30.
Yeah.
Just can you meet me?
Yeah.
If you say you come, I'll meet you.
Yeah.
And that's always a good first step. It's get out of your house, get out of your comfort, brush your teeth. Instead of coffee, instead of the morning, drink a glass of water. Well, get your coffee afterwards. Like change your routine just a little bit, and get a little uncomfortable with yourself, so that you say, "Yeah, I'm going to fight that
Yeah.
that thing that's I've been avoiding. I'm gonna instead of worrying about how I, look at the wall, I'm gonna go over, around, under, and you don't have to go through it, but you're gonna get somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Get yourself out of your comfort and get yourself going.
100%. And showing up. It's just the showing up.
Sure.
So for me, I kind of reverse engineer. That's why I do these challenges. I'm like, I know I know you know how to go for a walk. I know I know you can download an app. I know you have all the equipment and all the subscriptions, but you have to show up. And that's why I do these groups. It's like I'm like, for 90 days, you're going to show up in this group every single day, and you're going to post a picture that you worked out.
Now, are these live sessions? Is this what you're doing?
So it's for 90 days. You post for 90 days in this group. I go live once a week. I talk
Okay.
about, just something in personal development, mindset, strategies, scheduling. Like I have 3 key components to how to really lock yourself in the consistency vein. Like schedule it, write it down,
Sure.
and schedule it with somebody else, because
Yes,
that's the
that's the
accountability.
accountability. Yeah, sure.
So it's really just a matter of like, I expect you there's one mulligan over the 90 days, which means you get one
Oh, that's
screw
good.
up.
Yeah.
And it's all gamified. It's a really fun group. Well, we ended up, I had an over 85% participation rate in my group and a finish rate. So statistically, that's an anomaly, because most, like 75 hard has like a 10-15% finish rate, consistency rate. And I realized people just want that accountability. And when they know, like, oh, Barb's looking at where she's going to be, like, it's almost like this, like,
Wow, good
silent
for you.
nod of like,
Yeah.
oh, Barb's so annoying.
Well, they want it. You signed up for it. They
and
signed up
they
for it,
want
right?
it. They do and they don't, because there's some days.
So how many people?
I had 100 last time. I'm going for
wow.
5. It'll be capped at 500 this time.
It'll be
It's like, how many
capped at
minutes?
500.
Yeah, it'll be capped
Look
at
at
500.
you. Look at you. No more than 500.
No more than 500.
Sorry.
You want to get in early.
First come, first serve.
Well, I also can't manage that. many
No.
people.
That's interesting.
I'm like,
So-
oh my God.
So what's the first workout episode message?
Yeah, so
that
I
you-
don't. So
You don't-
I really open it up with setting non-negotiables. That this has become a non-negotiable, and to me, health and wellness is such a critical part. Working out. We are so damn sedentary. We have Uber. We have Uber Eats. We
Yeah.
have Instacart. We
Sure.
have drive-throughs. We don't even have to go to the bank anymore. We don't have to go to the supermarket. We don't have to move, and we are becoming. You don't move it, you
Right.
lose it. So I am not one. Oh, you need a day off. You need to move your body every single day. And my philosophy. Well, I'm a cancer survivor. when you work out and you get that oxygen through your brain, you think clear. And when you think clear, you behave better. You're in a better mood.
Sure.
You're a better parent. You're a better spouse. You're a better employee. You're a better entrepreneur. So to me, I'm like, this is now a non-negotiable, which means you will do it every single day. No excuses. Now, I'm like, grab your calendar. So my opening is grab your calendar right now, and we're going to start scheduling your workouts, because writing it down, and that's one of my things,
Yeah,
is
gotta write it down.
writing things down. You're 42% more likely to hit your goals just by writing them down. Yep. So for me, I'm like, you are going to write down, you're going to get granular with it. Then you're going to schedule it. Yep.
This is what I do.
Oh, I have such a great gift
we go
for you.
through, John and I go through this all the time. I'm like, write it down. I don't have to write it down. I have my phone. Okay.
Okay,
put it
so
in your
then
notes.
can I give you the gifts that I brought?
Yeah.
Because-
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's see.
So
Let's see.
I was told to bring something that.
Oh, thank you. We like to share. Thank you. And you're sharing with us.
You couldn't wait.
Okay, so what
awesome.
this is the journal. Okay, so now he has no excuse. No, we have no excuse.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, love it. I have like 3 or 4 of these books. Not
this
this
is
book
yours.
specifically.
Well, this is now the journal. So this is the Johnny Drinks journal.
Nice.
I'm really going to encourage you to write it down.
Talk to
because,
him. Go ahead.
Yeah,
This is a
there's
challenge right
and
now.
I'll share a great example of this. Number one, I wrote down in 2004. I read a book, saw a movie. They were like, write your goals down. I wrote down that I wanted to be on the Today Show.
When was this?
2005 or 2006. Sorry, 2006 was when like The Secret came out, Law of Attraction, blah blah blah. And you watch this movie, like you have to write things down, and then you've got to manifest it. I'm like, okay, this is all voodoo. So I wrote down that I wanted to be like Jill Martin on the Today Show. But even as I'm writing this down, I'm like, okay, so I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have a degree in health education, and I'm a door-to-door sales girl that I scaled sales teams in my 20s. I kind of laughed at it, but I wrote it down. Anyway, my very first booking for television was legit the Today Show.
Wow.
Legitimately the Today Show.
So impressive.
Writing, there's a power in the pen, and people are losing it. So that's just one. I have to share this. When I was growing up, so I'm one of 2 sets of twins. My mom's a triplet. It runs in the fam. And my parents had to split up at one point because they lost everything. So I had to go live in California with my dad, my uncle, and my 3 brothers. So 5 dudes and me in a studio apartment in La Jolla. 5 dudes, 1 bathroom. It was horrible. So my dad, my dad would take us to Ferrari dealerships.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, you pick out your car. And I remember being like, we were in a painter's van at the time. I'm like, I don't want a Ferrari. I want a car with seats. Anyway.
You were in a painter's van because your dad was a painter.
No, he was just broke, and it was all I could afford. It was not. My dad couldn't paint his way out of a paper bag.
Oh, my gosh.
But that's all we had was this painter's van, 2 seats in the front. And I have a special needs brother, so he rode shotgun. The 3 of us would like surf in the back. We were really bad. It was ghetto.
Shotgun.
So, and now my life is a little different. I wanted to say that. But I want to share this. I got home once after our Ferrari dealership. My dad loved the Testarossa. And I was crying, and he's like, Barbara, somebody's got to buy these cars. We just have to figure out what they did and do what they did to get what they have. And I was like, okay, so I don't have to be born with it or inherit it. I just have to do it. And that, like a Nike commercial. Maybe my dad really is the Nike person. Wow. But here was what he had me start doing. He's like, Barb, start drawing your dream house. And I was like, yeah, just sit down, draw your dream house. And I don't know why, but I can't remember this part of my childhood, but I must have at some point saw Jack and Jill bathrooms. So I drew this house with 5 bedrooms, and the 2 bedrooms, the 4 bedrooms, the kid bedrooms, remember I'm one of 4, had little Jack and Jill bathrooms. I thought it would be really cool if my twin brother and I shared a little bathroom. Can you imagine like a bathroom with only sharing one person? It was like a dreamscape. And I drew this whole thing in the master bedroom and all this thing, and I drew a circular driveway. I pulled up to my house. This is about 2.5 years ago. And I'm just sitting in my driveway. I'm like, I'm so grateful for what I have. And I remembered, I'm like, I drew this house. I swear to you, I drew Jack and Jill bathrooms. I bought a house with 5 bedrooms upstairs, and the 4 kids' bedrooms have Jack and Jill bathrooms. I'm like, I drew this house. I drew this house. And every
You willed
person,
it. You made it happen.
I made it happen.
Right?
And
Put it out to the universe.
100%.
Yep. It's so listen, does amaze me in some respect, but doesn't surprise
It's-
me, because how many times over we meet and hear those people who have done certain things and made it seem like, yeah, it's always an effort, but also made it seem like, well, no, I knew this was going to happen. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Why can't
It
you
started
find
here.
It starts at a very young point, age, wherever it is, and you just go about achieving.
Like a lot of businesses were started on like a beverage napkin, like at some sort of diner, they're like drawing it out.
That's a great
and
message.
There is a science behind it, because you've got the creative brain where you see yourself and you see it all, and it's up there. I don't know if it's the left or the right side of the brain, but there's a creative side,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's the left side
Is
of
it
the
the
brain.
left?
I
We'll
refer
call
to
it
it as
left.
we have to GTS that. Someone
Well,
figure it out.
maybe it's the right, because then it manages
right
the
side.
left.
Is it the right side?
Okay, the right is the
That's why
creative
lefties
side.
are normally more creative.
That's what I was thinking. So
So
I
it's
think
the
it's
right
the
side.
right side is the creative
okay.
side. The left side's the
have to
analytical. And
fact
when
check
you
that.
write it down,
Good.
we will fact check it, and then we'll put it in like a
No, I don't
TikTok.
know.
Good.
Maybe
But it
one of
actually
our
cross
staff.
pollinates both sides of your brain.
Yeah.
It literally amplifies your dreams into like that and your subconscious mind. What? It's the right.
It's the right side
yeah.
of the brain.
So
Nice.
the right side of the brain
Not
is
only
the
is he
creative.
good looking, he's well.
I love that we have these Googlers. But it cross pollinates and it amplifies that vision of yourself, and knowing that your subconscious mind has no sense of humor, it just literally cannot disseminate. You plant that stuff in there and you start to solidify it by using both sides of your brain. You start, even on the most subconscious level, moving in that track. So just start, writing like how you see your family, where are you living, how many vacation homes
Exactly.
do you have,
Why not?
what does your jet look like, where is it
You have a
parked, and
jet. What's your jet look like?
Yes. Right?
Oh wow!
Why not have a private plane?
You got a pen? Give me a-
Write that down. I
me draw a
think, have you
picture.
guys done private travel yet?
Yeah, we have. I have. I mean,
it'll
I've been
end- it ends-
afforded that opportunity, but
you
it's
need
not
to.
my own.
Yes, we'll do something.
All right, sign me up.
There's no reason that shouldn't be in your realm of possibility. Nothing is off the table. If you don't want it, I get it.
Sure.
I don't get it, actually. Not your dreamscape. You
I
are
guess if
missing
you had a
out.
choice,
Right.
it would be nice, right?
Why not put it out there? And like, this is how I want to travel the next, when I'm with my kids. I don't feel like, what's
Sure.
wrong with that? Somebody has to buy these planes.
Sure.
Somebody has to employ these pilots.
Right.
Somebody has to put
Right.
fuel jet.
And you should never apologize, by the way, for wanting these things or thinking. And not to cut
Yeah.
you off or stop you in any respect, but there's two things that you're leading me to at least acknowledge. One, that you should never apologize for something it is that you want to anyone, to their feelings, because they may be different. You want a jet, you want a boat, you want cars, houses, go get it, earn it, and do it the right way, and thank yourself and reward your family for it. That's
Yeah.
one. The other thing that I think about when you say about writing it down, not only is it come from the universe into your brain, to your fingertips, to paper, and you can see it. But yes, it's there until you go back and check it off or cross it out. So even the simple things like writing down, I have to go to the dry cleaner, I have to go to the supermarket, I have to do. You write that down, and then at the end of the day, when you check off the 2 or 3 you did, that's a sense of accomplishment,
Yeah.
right? You feel like you did something, even though you just went to the supermarket maybe, but it's done.
Yeah.
And I believe wholeheartedly that helps you rest and sleep at night versus laying around thinking of things you need to do.
Yeah, and what was
Write
that?
it down.
Uh-huh.
One of the best things I was ever told was put a pad next to your bed.
Yes.
And if you have a thought of something you forgot to do, just scribble it down there. And the next morning you look at it and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do that today. Right?
It's just it's just power. There's a magic in the pen.
Yeah.
And I think
Believe
we're
that.
losing
Believe it.
touch with it. And it's not. It's just a grounding exercise.
it.
I'm just really passionate about it. And then leave nothing. Don't hold yourself back. That's the one thing. Oh, it's ridiculous. And you just said something really good. Like, don't let other people's perception of your dreams, and don't ever tell your dreams to a small-minded person. They're gonna crush it, right? There's a quote out there like that.
Yep.
And I've made that mistake. like, oh my God, that's like ridiculous, you know, or people that I realized I just told it to the wrong person.
Sure.
Those are my dreams. That is
Sure.
my dream. So this is how I want to live my life. You go ahead and live your life. And I'm taking people along the way with me. I can't grow an empire without helping other people grow their empire. Like I can't, like, I'm not a one-man show here. You know, even
Or a one-woman show.
yeah, one
In case you
human.
didn't look in the mirror, Barbara. You're all
I
woman.
know, that's true. I'm all girl.
So
Or Babs.
That's
Babs.
right.
Who knows? Babs
Depends
might-
on who shows
Babs-
up.
Babs might hurt you in an alleyway.
She's
but
tough.
Barbara's.
I'll tell you, I really learned that side of me when I went through my divorce. I learned how that everyone's like, oh, cancer was hard. I'm like, no.
I was gonna ask you. So did that happen at the same time?
Yes. I went through chemo. I went to chemo treatments and marriage therapy and chemotherapy
What happened first?
simultaneously. My marriage ended first.
Okay.
Dumpster fire, like out of a movie, you know, all the things. I wasn't prepared. I didn't see it coming. It was very shocking. I was really heartbroken. I loved that man. I felt like I married the man of my dreams. And so I was devastated. And then they, like 3 months later, they're like, listen, I got, you know, they called me like, you have stage 3 colon cancer. And I couldn't even hear it. I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that right
No
now.
time for that,
Can you
right.
go back to your little file, come back with a 1 or a 2? I'll take a stage 1er. If I can, like, can we shuffle the cards? Because I can't handle a 3 right now. I have 3 kids. I am, you know, really not doing, my marriage is over. So I had to shelf the divorce because I had to live. I had some things to do.
It's
I had to
amazing.
survive this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I look back and everything, I took my marriage as far as I could. I have no regrets about being divorced. He's a great dad. I'm a great mom. I am happier than I've ever been. It wasn't where I saw myself. I definitely didn't see myself divorced. But life has a way of happening for you.
Yeah.
Like I do think I'm in such a better place now. And I'm grateful I had the courage to leave. That's
Yeah,
all I
good.
can say.
More power to you. I mean, you didn't sign up for any of that, and
Yeah, I was really
you
annoyed.
got dealt what you did, and proud that you worked through it. I mean, I've known you. I've known that story. I've heard that story a couple times, and it never disappoints and impresses. It just is continually impressive when you hear about some of the obstacles that you have gone through and what you're accomplishing today. And again, the way that we met was so much fun, and that you gave us some of your time and shared it with the people that were at the time watching television. And so when Johnny and I talk, is there anything else that you want to kind of ask Barbara, or as an opportunity here to kind of wrap up and say something else?
Well, I was curious about, because I know you said cancer was like the trigger for you to now say, you're not taking no for an answer. You're going to go do the things you want to do. And TV was one of those things. What was like the first, I guess, your BABS moment? Like when you were done, what was like that first step you took? Was it like something you did?
First of all, I'm a woman of my word, and that is something that runs through my veins. I'm like, you say something, and I felt like I made this vow. I would never play small again. I was like, just give me another shot, get me out of this cancer. I will never play small again. And, when I really recalled that, I remember sitting at my desk in my office, like, what does that mean? Right. And I started going back to what what I feel my purpose, what my gifts were. And I have a brother with special needs. And in that moment, I feel like I've done a lot of advocacy for children and adults with special needs, but I've kept it really small, like Princeton based and little. And I was like, you know what? I have to remember why I'm here. And I believe I was given a second shot, and I have I'm supposed to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I'm supposed to use my voice to speak for the most vulnerable members of society. I am never to play small. And, sometimes that's really hard.
Sure.
Sometimes I don't want to do it, but I have this part of me that's like, you have to keep going forward and keep growing your circle of influence, keep putting yourself out there, because when it all is said and done, I can use my voice for the greater good, to amplify messages that I know need to be heard to more people. And that always helps me take that next step. It also helps me deal with haters, adversity, setbacks, anything else. I'm like, I am not doing this for you. I am not here to make friends. I'm here to leave a legacy of great purpose. And I can go to that space in really difficult times. And it gets me out of my own way. I'm like, no, you're not here for them.
Wow.
People
Good
are
for
going to
you.
hate.
And there's one other thing that as you're saying this, and I think anyone who listens, you have a high energy level, you have lofty goals, you're laser focused in achieving and conquering and just get out of my way attitude. Love it. But there's also on any given moment, any given day, where you probably wake up and go, oh, like now
Yes.
what? Like now what? Like what do I do today? I mean, so let's be candid, right? We're transparent. We know what it is to put ourselves out there. And make a good content TikTok or YouTube and it get accepted by our audience and the views measure success somehow, which we've learned not to let us bother us. But there's those moments. It could happen tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So what's the one thing, what's your reset go? What do you think of to say, I don't want to tell you what I do, but you must do something. What is it?
I think for me, it's always, because someone's like, I don't have to do this. Why am I doing this? I've come far enough. I'm good. You're good, Barb.
Right.
Calm down. Right. And I'm reminded I don't have to work, but I have work to do.
Okay.
And I do believe that work is heavily aligned with living out my purpose. And the blessing and the curse of going through cancer is that I know what it's like to be confronted with my own mortality. I know that I only have so much time on this earth as we all do. And that doesn't depress me. That inspires me to make the best choices I can every day. And when I make bad choices and I do stupid things, because I'm humaning, I am human. I say the wrong things. I make the wrong choices.
Sure.
I literally have done some of the dumbest things in my newfound are so humiliating yet funny, but humiliating. And I just can't be stopped. I'm like, I want to show up if my card is called again on 2 wheels, the doors are hanging off, there's no gas in the tank, that's done. I have left it all out on the field. And so that's my reset.
Good for you.
You know,
good for us.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being around us. I mean, this is just inspiring. I said to John, this is going to be the easiest podcast we probably do because she's just going to take and run and go and give us a lot of. She could have turned around and we're on your show now. Ready to go.
now I'm like,
all right,
tell
Barbara
me this.
Majeski.
I want to know more about these
We'll
brothers. Where are your brothers? What?
We'll have you back on.
Yeah,
good
I want to
stuff.
switch
You can be our
I want to
host.
switch because I'm curious. I'm curious what it's like growing up. You know what your childhood was, and now I'm so curious about your brothers. Where are they? Where's your mother? Where's your father? Where know? How do they feel?
Yeah, this is good. This is great.
That'll be episode 2.
You good? Anything else?
I think we're good.